Well, it's been a minute, half a year, in fact, since I've made a video on this channel. So for those of you who may have forgotten me, and that's understandable, I was working on a combat side-scroller called Blood and Mead. And then I pretty much just disappeared at the peak of the channel's success. So I thought I owe a bit of an explanation as to where I've been. On the surface, things were progressing well. The last video having collectively like 500,000 views across YouTube, thanks in part to Asmongold, who did a video about my last video. Bit of a video inception.
Then you can play with their head like a soccer ball.
Messi, give it to him.
You know they used to do this? Yeah, this is a big thing people used to do all the time. There it is.
Perfect for unlocking doors.
So, at a time like that, it would be appropriate to kind of ride the momentum, try to capitalize off that success, but I did the opposite. I decided to shut it all down, and I became a game dev recluse. And that is because my project had some fundamental problems. A victim of entropy, chaos, to put it simply. Chaos in my code, chaos in my design, and chaos in my mind. I got to the point where I was going to sleep with a feeling of dread. Dread of not being able to bring the project together, and the dread of failing, I guess. I was at a crossroads with only two available options. One, abandon the project, give up on the dream and go back to a normie life, if you will. Or two, muster up every last bit of energy I had and attempt to climb out of this pit I had dug for myself. And pit is perhaps an understatement. Bogged down by complexity, inefficient workflows, and unscalable infrastructure. And that's because the design had changed a lot since the game's inception. But a lot of the systems just were not designed to scale for the new scope. I could no longer see the goal anymore. I could no longer see the next milestone, and I was caught in this desert with no hope in sight, basically. And perhaps you can relate to that desert wasteland I describe in any creative endeavor, really, between the honeymoon phase, where it's really fun and you just start off, and the end, which is pretty much the entire project. But somewhere towards the end, it gets really tough, and I suspect it's where a lot of projects of any sufficient complexity die.
He is driven forward, always forward.
False finish lines emerging all over the place. You kind of follow one path only to realize you got to backtrack and rebuild a system, drowning in technical debt. An endless, perpetual game of whack-a-mole, just knocking out problems and new ones constantly popping back up again. The Barrow Downs of game dev. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you'll understand that. And it would have been really easy to let it all go and make that pain stop at that point. In life, if you want to see dramatic changes, you typically have to make dramatic changes within yourself, within your life. So I completely shut everything down. I became completely unreachable for the most part.
Hi.
Hello, John?
How are you? Who are you?
I'm not gonna...
Stop it!
I'm not gonna call if you're gonna keep...
Stop whining!
No recreational screen time and no YouTubing. Complete vacuum dev mode, completely myopic with one goal in mind. To crawl out of this hole I was in. And I set myself a goal of having a playable demo, completely production ready of a sufficient size. That was my goal. And it was a tall task considering the quagmire I was currently in. I've always put a lot of value in work-life balance, but in truth, work-life balance is a bit of a luxury. And there are periods in life where that balance has to go out the window so you can get shit done. Every moment not dedicated to my day job or my family or my general survival was given up to the game dev gods. 1 month passed, then 2, then 3. With every month that passed, I became more determined and relentless, kind of like a game dev machine. It became my baseline state. And after 6 full months of this brutal regime, I stopped. I built out a version of my game sat back with a controller in my hand and a beer in the other, and I could only marvel at what I had achieved in this time. The skill system was done. The map system was done. The combat system was done. Even the title screen was done and fully functional. The inventory system was done. The shop system was done. Leveling and progression systems were done. The new on-screen combat HUD was done. The UI screens and systems were more or less done, including the settings screen and all those kind of annoying things. The entire input system was redone, allowing for real-time input detection for different input types. And with gamepads, the game feels really good. But with keyboard, it's often a lot more difficult to get a game feeling as intuitive because you often have a lot more buttons to press and it's kind of unconventional positions. But I'm happy to say that I got it feeling pretty damn good. And miraculously, the save system is now fully functional and working. And that was a big headache because, you know, things like abandoning your levels mid-play, you got to reset all the data to the previous state. I did a lot of coding over this time. But, you know, a game is not all about the code. The game is the design. And I did a lot of game design and art as well. Creating so many new regions of the games, so many new biomes, from the village of Cravenhelm and its many NPCs, the Deadlands, the Bonefire Mine, Crowfall Bluffs, the Bog, and many, many more. I even added bonus levels to each map region, things like timed speed challenges or combat challenges with a leaderboard to see where you placed. I also spent considerable time glamming up and improving the visual look of the game, just to bring it up to more modern standards. Things like dynamic lighting, luminosity filters, LUTs, and even the water reflection, which really makes the scenes pop now. I also added a stack of new enemies, and I think there's over 20 unique enemies in the game at this point. Skeletons, spiders, sorcerers, and even this friendly looking grunt enemy that goes by the motif Skull Eater. I even started adding the bosses. For some extra flavor and lore, I went so far as to add a bestiary where players can read about all the different enemy types as they discover them. I even got a lot of the story and writing done, and that's a tricky thing, and I had to go back to a lot of books and read up about story writing, and man, there's a lot to it, you know, just to get a cohesive story. It's a kind of flamboyant story about this warrior, kind of inspired by a lot of my favorite movies and pop culture, you know, Lord of the Rings, Witcher, Conan, and many other inspirations. But importantly, after all this, I now had a fully functional demo with hours of content. Man, if I had said that to myself 6 months ago that I would have all that, I wouldn't have believed it. At this point, I did the only sensible thing I could think of, and that was to force my wife to sit down and play it. So I plugged it in on the big screen in the lounge room to kind of simulate a console experience, and just sat back and let her play, and that was a really special moment for me.
Now, do I have to get rid of them like that?
No, you don't have to. There's a chance to get another coin. Yeah, see?
Oh, okay.
It's like a random chance. It's not every time, but...
I wonder if they're going to come back to life.
No, they don't. Collect it.
Do I need to get in?
Well, technically, no.
So. Oh my god, where'd he go? Ninja. Get up! I'm just going to avoid him.
Yeah, alright. There's a ladder up there.
Remind me to go over there.
Well, it's a bonus if you want to get the... I mean, skip it for now. That's alright. It's for players who want to collect all the
I
things.
can't do it.
No, wrong way!
Oh my god, wrong way!
Oh, nice!
I thought I'd get it with that.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Good,
That's the
because
thing.
you don't need to
you
worry
can.
about anything.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
pretty
perfect.
So yeah, man, it's a special thing to sit back and watch someone play your game in real time. So while the game is not complete yet, and I still have a significant kind of mountain to climb to get it out the door, I now can see something that resembles a finish line. And that's something I just did not have 6 months ago. In fact, it was completely unheard of. And I could have been making a very different video today announcing the abandonment of the project. So I'm glad that is not the case. And thankfully now my life can return to some semblance of normality and balance, which I'm very excited about. So I went over to visit my friend Oliver. We played basketball, we hung out, we talked about game dev. He showed me the game he's working on, Gorgon Shield, which has now been released like 2 weeks ago. So it's worth checking that out. He's a great game designer, really tight game designs. So I think I'm officially back on YouTube now, and I think of those of you who have stuck around. I wasn't sure I'd have any subscribers left when I got back. Blood and Mead is a completely solo project. It's a lot of different hats I'm wearing, and by virtue of this foolish decision, I've learnt a lot of lessons, and hopefully I can communicate some of those in future videos. Now, regarding a demo, I plan to release a limited demo to the Discord group in the near future. So if you're interested in taking part in a future playtest, just jump over to the Discord and wait for the ping, I guess. I've updated the Steam page, so if you want to see some of the new screenshots or videos, I'll drop a link down below. So thanks for sticking around, I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.